with attorney Sarah Jane Sugitan, exploring the concepts of intellectual property rights and protection, teaching you how to protect what you create. And now, here's your host, Sarah Jane Sugitan.
Good morning, everyone. You're on the Piracy Watch. The war against piracy continues. In the biggest confiscation of smuggled counterfeit products for the first quarter of 2011, the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, or IPOPHIL, together with the Bureau of Customs, destroyed thousands of counterfeit items amounting to at least 300 million pesos last Friday. Customs Commissioner Angelito Alvarez said the condemned articles included imitations of Energizer batteries and an array of well-known brands such as Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, Lacoste, Breitling, and Nike. The BOC will forward its findings for proper investigation of the parties involved. IPOPHIL Director General Ricardo R. Blancaflor commended the seizure carried out by the customs officials, citing its strong deterrent effect against smugglers of pirated items. According to Blancaflor, we are promoting a culture of respect for intellectual property rights in order to uplift our economy. We need to straighten out those who are caught liable. The BOC identified multi-carat enterprises and Port Wings Trading as the importers of the pirated goods. According to Customs Director Filomeno Vicencio, this is proof of the agency's serious and revitalized campaign to rid the local market of fake brands. The BOC is mandated by law to prevent and suppress the smuggling and entry of prohibited imported goods and supervise and control the entrance and clearance of vessels and aircrafts engaged in foreign commerce. Last month, IPOPHIL signed an agreement with the Philippine Ports Authority to implement stricter border control measures in a move to prevent the use of Philippine seaports as entry and exit points of pirated and counterfeit goods. These cooperations are part of the IPOPHIL's holistic approach to engage all relevant government agencies to deter piracy and counterfeiting. Good morning, everyone. Joining me this morning is the Executive Director of the National Book Development Board, Attorney Andrea Pacion Flores, and the Vice Chairman of the Union ng mga Manunulat sa Pilipinas, President of the Union ng mga Manunulat sa Pilipinas, or UMPIL, Engineer Abdon June M. Balde Jr. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, actually. Kasi Andrea here has her kids inside her tummy. A boy and a girl. So, ladies and gentlemen, so I have actually 4 guests on my show this morning. And we are going to talk about, of course, this month we're celebrating the World Intellectual Property Day on the 26th of April with a special focus on copyright, which is a form of intellectual property and one of the most infringed upon intellectual property right ng mga artists. So, first of all, let's talk to the lady, Attorney Andrea. You are with the National Book Development Board, and it is a government agency, correct?
Yes, Sarah, thanks for inviting me. Good morning to everybody. Yes, the National Book Development Board is a small government agency. Our mandate is to help develop the book publishing industry. The book publishing industry includes everybody, that is all these creative people who are responsible for creating books. So we have, number one, the authors, or the content creators. If you are an illustrator for children's books, then that is also included as you are also a stakeholder, and you also have publishers, of course, and down the line we have perhaps printers and raw material suppliers and everybody else.
Everybody else. The NBDB is responsible for the tulaan sa tren.
Yes.
And LRT only?
At the LRT, yes. So we still have the posters on the trains, that's featuring Philippine poetry. So it's the LRT Line 1 and Line 2. Line 2 is already running.
So they're really promoting, of course, readership, number one, and respect for
authors' rights, for the creative content found in books. Sometimes you also have, aside from illustrations, you also have sound. Like we have on the Tulaan sa Tren, voiceovers of celebrities reading.
Mga recordings.
Yes, reading the poetry. So the performance of the poems or the creative, the content that goes into that creative work is also protected.
Also protected by copyright. Engineer June Balde, meanwhile, was in the construction industry. You are a professional as well, an engineer, and he has been in the practice for 33 years. Is that correct? Before he retired, is that retirement mandatory? I mean, brought about by age, or is that voluntary on your part?
It was voluntary.
It was voluntary.
Yes.
So he retired in order to write. No, not exactly.
Not exactly. I thought I'd retire because I got tired of construction and engineering already, and I'd want to go back to things that I used to do and I love to do. Actually, nung nag-retire nga ako, akala ko babalikan ko pagpipinta because I used to paint. Kaya lang, napunta ako sa pagsusulat.
According to, I read up one of your write-ups in Philippine Star before. As you see, our Oragon engineer, June Balde, is, like Andrea, a multi-award winning author, while Andrea is a best-selling author of Have Baby Will Date.
Oh my God, your research is very good.
So thank you to the IPOPhil, my IPOPhil colleagues for doing the research for this. June, so you started writing, or at least publishing books in 2000, year 2000.
Yeah, 2001. My first
2001.
book came out in 2001. It was published by University of Santo Tomas.
And you have vowed to write one book per year. How is that promise coming along?
I'm keeping up with it. I launched my 9th book last Saturday.
Congratulations.
And I'm coming up with my 10th year of retirement late this year, and it's going to be another novel.
Novel. Okay. I just like to ask, because this is the first time I'm interviewing authors who have best-selling published works. How does it feel like to profit from your work? I mean, to finally earn from a published work.
It feels really good, no? Just, I think last week I signed mobile rights with my publisher for that book you mentioned. So it might be distributed as content in mobile phones. Okay. So that is interesting for me.
How about you, June? How did it feel like to be to earn from your first birth?
Well, actually, it's not as financially rewarding as when I was in construction. Yes. You could partly blame me for that, probably, because some of my books are not qualified bestsellers, except one about aging,
The recent one.
Yeah,
one of the most recent ones.
The one I launched last year was about aging senior citizens, and I was surprised that there would be market for senior citizens in writing. A lot of people have been telling me that aging is not a very nice topic for a bestseller. But I was surprised dahil marami talaga yung nagka-interest doon sa pagsulat. Siguro naman dahil sa paraan ng pagsusulat ko, dahil yun ang pinakauna kong librong very light at saka maraming pwedeng pagtawanan na hindi naman yung yung kinatandaan yung dapat na pagtawanan. But there are situations na talagang very light, can be treated very lightly para naman hindi masyadong nakakalungkot yung pagtanda.
Let's go na to the book publishing industry. Sadly, no, I mean, and Andrea is NBDB is part of the National Committee on Intellectual Property Rights. And sadly, one of the most pirated intellectual property are books.
Yes,
books. So the extent of piracy now is much larger in scope. Dati CDs and DVDs lang. Last year in the destruction ceremony, we included books. And those that were that we destroyed, we burned, or we slashed.
We slashed and shredded them.
Last year. How is the publishing industry coming along? Is it going strong, or what do you think? How do you assess?
I think the publishing industry is strong, although it does have its few challenges, no? For the academic and scholarly titles, you mentioned that this is the industry that is fraught with infringement, no? So for that, I think you are referring to mostly textbooks, no? And that would be the textbooks in the medical and the allied sciences, engineering books, and business books, no? So those are the books heavily pirated, which means that let's say photocopying or copying into the DVDs and to many titles in DVD or optical discs, no, are actually let's say medical and nursing books, and then for also, like for example, if many of our nurses are going abroad, they must take the IELTS or the TOEFL, so the English tutoring books, the English language books are also pirated. And of course, for the local books, I think that would be also, there would be a lot of law books pirated. But I think there are, the piracy of these books must be answered, no, in different levels, no. I think for one, I think publishers might keep in mind that our market is not our purchasing power as a people is not very high. Okay, so I think that one is a business decision whether they have these wonderful medical books that are just very expensive, perhaps. And they are addressing that. Many of our publishers are addressing that, coming out with local editions, no? Whether they are paperback editions or maybe newsprint editions. So that one is being addressed. Another aspect that's being addressed by our publishers is the distribution problems. Sometimes, many of the times actually, like students in Mindanao, they really want to buy books. However, the availability of such books, no? It's a little bit hard. If you see our problem is we're in an archipelago, and someone did mention that our distribution channels, our distribution network is like England in the 16th century.
Ah, okay. So it's not very
developed,
so to speak.
If you look at how the problems of DepEd as to distribution, no, they needed for Coca-Cola had to help because the distribution of some of the books, because they had to load the Coca-Cola. Part of their corporate responsibility was that they put the books in the Coke trucks to distribute into the far-flung inner
hard to reach areas.
Yeah, inner towns of the country. So that's how difficult it is, no? Sometimes we have no roads. Sometimes we are using bangka. So that's how
to get the books
to kids. So that those things must be addressed as well. However, it's also, I think, number one is the attitude of people. The mindset of people that they think if you cannot touch it, if you cannot hold it, it's not a thing, it's not stealing.
It's not stealing.
Yeah, so
which is wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
It's
so
wrong.
Because an author works very hard on a book. So when you take it away by stealing, photocopying the whole book, that does not, there's no money going to the system. The author does not earn royalty. The publisher will not earn any money. The distributor doesn't earn money. There's no taxes paid to the government. So who is there benefiting there? Diba? So the thing is, when you think about it, if these are the books that are mostly, let's say, photocopied, are textbooks, let's say the medical and the allied sciences books. Those books are very important. If you are photocopying the wrong content,
yeah, then you're going to study the wrong.
If you're going to study the wrong thing, it has very dire consequences. Now, some of these books, just so the publishers, what they do, they have interactive material. Sometimes the book comes with a CD, or sometimes you get the book and then you go online for other supplementary materials. Okay, so sometimes because you have a pirated copy, you don't have access to those.
Yeah. You don't have add-ons.
Yeah,
so I don't enjoy add-ons. All right. So those are the challenges of our local publishing industry, the distribution, and also the mindset of the people. More on the book publishing industry with Engineer June Balde of UMPIL and Attorney Andrea Pasion Flores of the National Book Development Board when we return right here on Piracy Watch.